Welcome to The Explainer. This week, something really fundamental shifted in the war in Ukraine. And no, we're not just talking about what's happening on the front lines. We're talking about a brand new campaign, one that's striking deep inside Russia, going after the very engine of its war machine. So let's break down exactly what's going on.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the heart of what happened in week 48. Russia has been banking on a long war, thinking its massive resources would just wear everyone down. But what happens when the very fuel for that war, and I mean both the literal fuel and the economic fuel, starts going up in flames?
So, let's be clear. What we're seeing here, these aren't just a bunch of random lucky strikes. Oh no. This is a deliberate, calculated recalibration of strategy. The goal is to completely change the math of this war by hitting Russia exactly where it thought it was safest, at home.
And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the new approach. For a long time, the focus was all on frontline attrition, destroying tanks, taking out artillery, stopping troops right as they appear. That's basically just targeting the symptoms. This new strategy, though, it goes after the system that produces and fuels that army in the first place, the refineries, the production plants, the logistics networks. It's like a shift from just fighting the fire to actually cutting off its oxygen supply.
To really wrap your head around the scale of this new strategy, you just gotta follow the money. In a single week, week 48, the estimated cost to Russia was, it was a staggering $5.6 billion. To put that into perspective for you, that is more than the entire annual defense budget of some European countries. This isn't just a military loss, it's a direct, massive, and painful drain on the Russian economy.
Okay, now let's break that number down, because this is where things get really interesting. Just look at that top line. Those deep strikes, the ones inside Russia, accounted for $3.4 billion of that damage. That is nearly double the cost of all the intense fighting on the front lines combined. The key takeaway here is that these long-range attacks are delivering an absolutely massive economic punch for every single strike.
So how exactly is all this economic damage being inflicted? Well, it all starts with the first major pillar of this new strategy, the oil war. This is a systematic campaign designed to go after the economic oxygen of the Russian war machine, its massive oil and gas industry.
And this campaign is widespread. These targets aren't just clustered near the border, they're spread deep across Russia, from right near Moscow all the way down to the Black Sea. Every successful strike doesn't just cause a fire, it takes a critical piece of Russia's refining capacity offline, sometimes for weeks, maybe even months. The goal here is to create a domino effect, fuel shortages for the military at the front, and a choked-off flow of oil money that funds the whole war.
And it's not just about production either. The strategy is also about choking Russia's ability to even sell its oil. Hitting major export terminals like Novorossiysk is designed to completely disrupt the flow of crude oil out of the country. Because think about it, every barrel that can't get shipped is revenue the Kremlin can't use to pay for its war.
But now we seem to be entering a new and, frankly, much more dangerous phase. Attacks on the oil tankers themselves. This is a huge escalation. It's designed to spook international shippers, to drive insurance costs straight through the roof, and to force Russia to completely rethink how it protects its most vital economic artery. Okay, so running parallel to this oil war is the second pillar of the strategy. A coordinated effort to choke Russia's ability to build, maintain, and repair its own military hardware. Pretty simple logic, right? If you can't build it, or you can't fix it, you can't use it.
And again, the focus here is systemic. It's not just about blowing up one factory and calling it a day. It's about degrading the entire military-industrial ecosystem. We're talking everything from the plants that forge the steel for tanks, all the way down to the labs that create these tiny electronic components for missile guidance systems. The goal is to create these critical bottlenecks that just grind the whole war machine to a halt.
I mean, just take a look at these targets. Taganrog isn't just any old airbase. It's the main hub for Russia's A-50 surveillance planes. They're crucial eyes in the sky. Hitting places like this or maintenance hubs like Yeysk isn't just about destroying a few planes on the ground. It's about destroying the ability to repair them, effectively grounding the Russian Air Force one hangar at a time.
This campaign is also striking deeper, right into the high-tech supply chain. Hits on places like Alabuga are aimed directly at the heart of Russia's Shahed drone production. By targeting these very specialized facilities, the goal is to starve Russia of the exact components it needs to build its precision weapons.
So, when you put all of this together, the oil war, the strikes on industry, the attacks on logistics, what do you get? you arrive at a new and, I think, irreversible reality for Russia. This isn't just some temporary problem they're facing. It's a permanent change to the very nature of this conflict.
So what does all of this really lead to? What is the single most important consequence of this big strategic shift we've been looking at?
It's this simple but absolutely profound fact: distance no longer equals safety. For years, the Kremlin has sold this idea of a deep rear as some kind of invulnerable fortress, a place where the war was just something happening far, far away on TV. Well, that whole concept has been completely shattered. From Tatarstan to the Black Sea, the war is now everywhere.
And that brings us to our final thought. This one sentence really redefines the map of this entire war. The front line is no longer just a line on a map. The battlefield is now the entire economic and industrial territory of the Russian Federation. And that simple fact, well, it changes everything.